This recording, I wanted us to share some gray areas. I want us to share some gray areas concerning JM Kariuki's death. As time goes on, and as we compare various witnesses, what they say, we form newer and newer opinions. There are some opinions which may be only be known by somebody from the profession. I know I read the newspaper on Sunday Nation on 2nd March 2025 from John Kamau. He's a journalist and I'm an intelligence officer and I'm a police officer. So you find that he can write things with a journalistic angle, and I can write something with an intelligence officer's angle. That is why I have come up with this. And I'm also coming up with comparing other people, what they say, and then as a desk officer of the special branch, I come up with a most probable thing. In the absence of a CCTV, in the absence of microphones, it is almost impossible to say what had happened. And in the intelligence, in the special branch, we were told and we were taught that the best report you can get is get between 3 or let us say 5. Get 5, minimum of 3, but get 5 witnesses. That is the lower side. And the upper side should be 7 witnesses. You don't look for more than 7 witnesses. In anything happening, even today, and you get more than 7 witnesses to tell you something. Today, we have so many CCTVs. If you check the CCTV, you'll be shocked that majority of the people, if they are 9, 10, 11, or even 12, some of them, without intention, they may give an impression of something happening the way it did not happen. Not that they are planned, not that they are whatever, no. But from experience, in those days that we did not have drones, we did not have CCTV and whatever, we used to have a maximum of 7, minimum of 3, although we used to be told try to make it 5. That way, and those 5 to 7 people should not know each other. Okay, if they know each other personally, they should not know that they are telling you. One should not know that each one of them just tell them that you are the only source of information, nobody else. You are the only source of information and nobody else. Because if people know each other and maybe they have discussed before coming to see you, then know that you most likely will get a cooked up story. The same way that the story was Philip Kilonzo used to meet. He asked Trun for a list of witnesses. Then he would make sure that he meets the witnesses before they meet Trun. That is to align them to a certain storyline. So you have about 7, and the 7, each one of them should think that they are the only ones who are telling you without knowing that you have other causes. In some cases, even spouses, you can get the same information from the spouses, but each does not know that the other spouse has talked to you. But we encourage people to get such information from spouses which has nothing to do with their marital life. It is just anything, like maybe they have a neighbor whom you are interested in certain ways. Now I think you understand. The greatest question that people have been asking, you find that various stories do talk about 2 bullets in JM's body, and others talk of 5 bullets in JM's body. In the records that I read at Nyati House, indicated that JM Kariuki was shot by Ben Gethi twice using a pistol. The report I had, and you see, before I continue, in the intelligence, we say, NIS, we say that no report is superior to other. No. If you are covering, let's say, a school, the most senior employee in a school is the school principal, and the most junior employee there is the grounds member, mtu ya kukata nyasi. When it comes to intelligence, you don't say that since the principal is the one who employed the grass cutter, and since the principal is, I don't know, in the super scale, so we listen to the principal. In intelligence, every human being above 18 years, their report is just the same. You just value a report between A and B, not because A is senior or B is what. I hope you understand. So when you hear reports that he was shot twice, somebody else comes at he was shot 5 times, some people look at the person who has said so and say that so and so is a very senior person in the government, so, and this one is a nobody, is not even known outside his village, so we can, no. In intelligence, you evaluate them both. And in intelligence, when you find all the reports are agreeing to each other. You see, with the DCI, if the reports are completely agreeing, then the DCI have a strong case to take to court. But in the intelligence, if 2 or 3, if various reports are photocopies of each other, totally agree with each other, then the intelligence officers, the NIS, become worried. They become worried because most likely this is a cooked story. Just like I said, Philip Kilonzo was meeting the witnesses before they met Trun. This was to make it possible that the story becomes one. So intelligence, ours is a mix and match. We want stories to agree, and we also want the stories to disagree. Then the desk officer can come up and with a middle story that can explain everything. I said that for another time. I said that JM was shot twice by Ben Gethi. JM Kariuki was shot twice by Ben Gethi. The first time was when he was going to pick his pistol. Then he was shot to disable the hand. That was the first time. The second time, when a decision was made that he be killed, he was shot the second time. And I've said that on that particular day and on that particular operation, he was not meant to be killed. Yeah, there are other syndicates which may have had that. So this one is, I'm not contradicting them, I'm not saying anything, but I'm talking of this particular syndicate. So he was shot and then placed in a meat van. Junior officers were told to take him wherever he will take. Now, if you look at John Kamau's story in the Sunday Nation of 2nd March 2025, he talks of 2 bullets which were .38 .38. Those are bullets that are used in pistols. So you can understand that those two were shot by Benghazi, the two bullets, .38. Now we have to explain about the other three bullets. When JM Kariuki was taken to Ngong, now let us talk about the Maasai who discovered JM's body. He said, he died recently, he said that he had bullet shots. He had bullets fired. When he had bullets fired, he went to that place where the bullets had been fired. So if the bullets had not been fired, he would not have gone there. Maybe he would have discovered the body at a later date, or somebody else would have discovered. But he had bullets and then rushed to the direction where the bullets came from. When he went there, he found JM. Now, this, my talking from where I'm seated, I want to say this, that the issue of the Maasai hearing the bullets has been with us since JM died. And my recollection or anything or whatever, up to this week, up to 2nd March 2023, has been that those who dumped JM at Ngong fired in the air so that it appears as though JM was no. It appears that whoever was killed, not even just JM. To the stories that I've been having in my mind all that time is that they shot in the air to give the impression that the shooting had happened at that scene. It is quite normal to the police, especially those days, canoe days, that senior officers would do something and then let the junior officer handle that. I have in mind two cases, one in Garissa, where somebody was just outside General Mahmoud's gate. Someone was hit by an AP Land Rover, which was being driven by an AP inspector, and the AP inspector went and called his driver, and then the driver said that he was driving, and the person appeared from nowhere. So the driver said that he's the one who hit the person, but it was the inspector who had hit that, and the inspector had no permission to drive that one. Another case is there is I'm forgetting the name of the OCS Eldoret. He was also my teacher. He taught me parade during my inspector's time, but I've forgotten his name. He was the OCS Eldoret and had an accident at the junction to JI-TENGE. He went back to the police station and called the police driver to state that. So in the police during canoe days, it was quite normal for a junior person to carry the load of the senior person, and he was always assured that you'll not be taken to court. And I don't know of any case where anyone was taken to court. So what I've always believed, what I've always trusted is that when JM's body was brought, these people fired in the air so that it be seen as if he was executed there. That is what I've been believing until Sunday when I read the story by John Kamau. Personally, I would say I really value the research work that John Kamau does. I really respect it and I really value that. Although we in the special branch, you are taught never to categorize people. Any intelligence can come from anybody, but in sincerity, he does his research. Now, in his Sunday Nation story, he says that the Parliamentary Select Committee wrote that in JM Kariuki's body, there were 5 bullets. 2 of them were 0.38 coming from a pistol. That one I've explained. It was coming from the shooting by Ben Gethy, the then GSU commandant. What about these other three? These other three, it was 7.62. And I can tell you, I just, after watching this video, just move out. Ask any police officer, especially those who were there during those days. 7.62 are bullets from rifles. Bullets from rifles. During those days, we have some even new guns that I can't handle. But those days, there were three types of guns that were used. There was Mark 4, which was 0.303. That one they cannot use a 7.2 watt. And the most common gun those days among the police officers were 2 or 3. 2 of them are called SLR. SLR, that is Liai, and FN, Fabrice National. It is very hard for somebody without a training to differentiate between LI, Liai, 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 and FN, Fabrice National from Belgium. And the other one, which even anybody on the road would understand, is a G3. So whichever gun that was used in Ngong was either an LAIA or Fabrice National FM or even a G3. This one, as I said, that in the special branch, information that appear to contradict each other sometimes and in many times complement each other. Now, when you find that he was shot 3 more bullets with 7.63, these are the junior officers who were pumping in bullets on him at Ngong. And these are the bullets that the Maasai had. I hope you get that. You get that from whatever the clarification which has come. There is lastly a story that people are saying that the hyenas did not eat JM because acid had been poured to him. No, no acid was poured on JM at all, at all. Some stories, some rumors do start and get traction that goes to a certain extent that even overtakes the truth. Because if you look, Nani is dead. If you, Martin Shikuku, if you look at the KTN report, both the untold story which I featured, and also if you look at the case files by KTN, Mark Mwithaga and Martin Shikuku are extensively, they are no longer with us, but it is good that they didn't go with the truth. If you listen to them, you'll hear it's also JM. Martin Shikuku was also JM. Martin Shikuku was saying that he looked at the body. He even shows that he looked at the body twice. This must be JM. I can tell you that if there was acid, he would not have come to that conclusion. He would not have come to that conclusion. So yes, we have cases. We have cases where acid is added post system. For example, when Nani died, Robert Ouko, the fire, well, first people who came there was no fire. But later on, other people who came, the fire had been lit at the place where the body was found and whatever. So there are those things which are done, and we know, especially we people who had interests in the cases. So the issue of acid, no. People, Nani looked at, JM was disfigured because there were no teeth. He had been lurized. And whatever. But you can see Mark Muithaga and Martin Shikuku, who are very close friends of him and who saw his body in the mortuary. They never mentioned whatever. So the reason why hyenas did not eat him, partly or wholly, it's just to explain that the gods favored JM Kariuki. The gods must have favored JM Kariuki. There is something that we may not understand, because the widow says, Terry Wanjiku Kariuki says, that is on Sunday, she said that when she went there, JM had no shoes. There was a label on the body. Of course, all bodies are labeled. If the body is known, it is written the name of the person. If it is not known, it is written unknown African male or unknown European woman, whatever the case is. But then she looked at the coat and she knew that this is a coat that had been given to him by his friend in the American embassy. She does not even talk of the body being disfigured or anything. We can only say that she reached there and concluded it was him. She didn't even go to the face or anything because she was already sure of that. So we have to say here that that is how it was, and I request people, especially those who have no connection to the case, don't start rumors and whatever, because rumors, they say that before the truth opened the door, a falsehood have already gone half the world. And you see, conspiratory cases, usually yeah, people really like them. They really like them, such that when the truth now comes, the same people are very quick to tell, move on. Just like one story where somebody had said that I was a Nyayo house torturer and I was really blasted. But when it came to an extent that I was not there, I never dealt with any Air Force, 82 Kenya Air Force people. When the documentary, the same people who were abusing me and telling me, they had even given me at Sijui Kunyanyi, the person who used to punish people in Nyayo house. The same people who are abusing me, Kunyanyi, Nyamaza, Sijui Nini, are now telling me, Bwana, you know how life is. Just be a man, move on. But then with the intention here, a tree without fruits, nobody throws stones at it, isn't it? So we understand that. But the main aim of this story was to say that JM Kariuki, it is now clearer. It is now clearer that he was shot twice in Kingsway House. And those bullets that the Maasai had, they were coming from a rifle, either a G3, a Fabrice National, or Liai. Those three, because those are the ones who use 7.62. And there's another thing also that was observed. By then, I had not joined the police, but I'm knowledgeable of police psychology even the time before I joined the police. I also wanted to tell people for the umpteenth time is that my mother was a Kikuyu from a place called Kayaba, near Wamunyoro. Yeah, you pass Kayaba as you go to Wamunyoro. You must pass Kayaba. 90% of the people who go to Wamunyoro must pass through Kayaba. Very near, Madera West has so many senior police officers. It has Gethi. It has Duncan Washira. Mrs. Ben Gethi and Miss Duncan Washira were sisters, or are sisters. The same place where what is it? The head of the military, the Navy Admiral, who is the CDF, is from Madeira West, and the current Inspector General is also from Madeira West. Gedhi is the person who introduced my parents to each other. I wanted that one to be clear. So it is something a heavyweight for me to talk about him, because basically, were it not for him to introduce a village girl from his place to his junior police officer, I would not be there. That one I wanted it to be clear. Another thing I wanted to clear is the Parliamentary Select Committee talked of how the OCS Ngong heard that there was a body, and the OCS was slow in going there. Actually, he handed over to his junior and then took the Land Rover to another station where he had been newly transferred to. There was whatever. I think I want to explain this, and let me be the devil's advocate. Ngong, according to the Masai who found JM, Ngong was a place where bodies were being taken there. So it is quite possible, and the bodies were not of VIPs, because the first VIP was JM and whatever. Because if you look at that time, when 1975, there were so many bodies at Ngong. How many VIPs got lost that time? They can't even reach 3. So we can say that those were just people, whatever. And maybe the police were executing people there. So the OCS, the inspector, I can't recall his name. The inspector, when he heard that there was another body there, he just say, to his mind, he must have said that is just another case. Second, we have places which were considered good stations and whatever. Assuming you are the OCS Garissa, even today, you are the OCS Garissa Central Police Station, and you are being transferred to Nairobi Central Police Station to be the OCS. What do? You'd not even wait for your reliever to come and take over from you. You'll just leave immediately, isn't it? So this fellow was the OCS Ngong, and he was being transferred probably to a better place than whatever. So he was in a hurry. Another thing that may not have been understood in the Parliamentary Select is that the inspector who was the OCS handed over to a fellow inspector who was a deputy OCS. Yes, nowadays, even the villages stations are headed by OCSs who are chief inspectors. Those days, for you to be an 2/3 of the OCS then were chief inspectors. 2/3 of chief inspectors then were OCSs, and 1/3 of chief inspectors were deputy OCPDs. So you find that depending on which station you are running, you'd find that big stations used to be run by chief inspectors. There's even a time when Central Police Station in Nairobi had an OCS who was a chief inspector and a deputy OCS who was a chief inspector, because of the flow of activities in I was about to say Shaurimoy, in Central Police Station. I'm saying Shaurimoy because at that particular time you would find Central Police Station had 2 or 3 chief inspectors, but Shaurimoy, the OCS, was an inspector with 3 or 4 inspectors. Oh, that was very normal at that time. So for the OCS to hand over to his deputy, who was an inspector like him, that was very normal for small stations in those days. And as I believe, this thing was happened in a spur of moment at the Kingsway House. So there was no way a junior officer like an OCS of a small station like Ngong would have known such a thing. And his ignoring of JM's body had more to do with him getting out of a smaller station to a better station. And 2, there were so many cases, as the Maasai had said, of people of bodies which were being dropped there. And imagine, even those bodies were ignored and even eaten by hyenas. With those few remarks, I think people will now understand me.